Alright, let's see what they look like. I imagine with all those ribs they're going to have to shoot hot and slow, just like a lot of other heavy ribbed baits do. This is just some scrap plastic off the bench that happens to have a lot of salt in it, so that may affect how it flows, but you know what, it's what's handy, so that's what we're going to use to test. Yeah, we're looking at about 360 there, so it should be hot enough to flow well. And hot and slow. These aren't particularly big molds, so you got to be careful to actually be able to do them slow. But here we go. Yeah, I'm going to draw a little more plastic. Hope I didn't get any air in there. Slow. 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 I have to say that to remind myself to go slow, because I'm anxious to get baits done just like everybody else, but it's faster to do it right than it is to do it over. And I'm not worried about chunks in that because I'm going to heat it up before I shoot it again anyway. Alright, we'll be back in a minute after that's frozen off. Probably don't need to top off, but I'm going to top them off a little bit anyway, because I already topped them off once right after I shot them. Alright, we'll be back in a few minutes. Alright, I guess it's time to see what they came out like. On a lot of these single cavity molds, you can just pull the sprue right out, and the bait is practically ready to go when you demold it. Now, 2 of these are RFLTs, which some of you guys have probably seen before, and 2 of these are RFG version 4. I don't remember which is which, so let's just open one and find out. Oh, there's the rib flippin' grub. That looks pretty darn good. One of the biggest problems with ribs is they tend to trap air bubbles, so you have to be particular. This one actually looks really good. You have to be kind of particular about your injection process. Remember, I made a big deal about going hot and slow? Well, you get better results with ribbed baits if you go hot and slow. Alright, there's the other one. I should just take those out and go fishing right now, shouldn't I? The last version of these, the ribs were a little bit different, but otherwise they're basically the same bait, is what I've caught my biggest fish on so far this year. And these are going to be the RFLTs, which are an older bait for me. And this is what I caught my second biggest fish on so far this year. And it looks like I got a few tiny little trapped air bubbles in that one. But that's a good looking bait. The RFLT. And yes, I know that's not a really creative name. It stands for ribbed flippin' longtail. And it's got a long tail, so it has lots of action. And it's thick, so when you're flipping it in the cover, it doesn't always tear off every time you get the least little hint of a stem wrap. And it actually works pretty good in pretty heavy cover. And I kind of did something like that for the RFG. As you can see, it's got a little bit thicker backbone on the tail also, so it makes it a little stronger. But it's a nice big shape, and it's thin on the leading edge, so it still can move a lot. Let's get a look at that mold. Every one of those ribs has a vent on it to try and make sure that they don't trap air bubbles. And these look like they came out pretty good.